Hey y'all, it's me, Paula, and I promised that I was gonna be doing some recipes for YouTube, and but today I decided not to do a specific recipe. Teresa's here from our corporate office. Teresa and I have been together for
17 years.
17 years. How have we not killed each other?
I know.
And of course, Eddie who lives here with Michael and me. He's manning the camera. But I was thinking the other day, y'all, our trips to the grocery store are so much more limited now with all this coronavirus going on. I know myself, I'm trying not to leave this property, and I've been pretty successful at it, and not letting anybody in here that I'm got any questions about or unsure about. So I thought, now would be a great time for us to talk about substitutions, because you may be in the middle of a recipe and find out, well, crap.
And panic.
Yeah, I don't have that. So what I want to talk with y'all today is the most common substitutes. So I'm just going to read them off to y'all, the ones that I have found over my years of being in the kitchen have been very beneficial for me. And the first one is baking powder. And I'm amazed at how people are confused about plain flour versus self-rising flour. A lot of people don't know about it, especially the new cooks coming into the kitchen. So if you need some baking powder, you would use 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So that's 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and that will work as your baking powder. All right, if you need lemon juice and you don't have any lemons, 1/2 teaspoon of vinegar will work well. If you have a recipe calling for 1 ounce of unsweetened chocolate, you can use 4 tablespoons of cocoa plus 1 tablespoon of butter.
Yum.
And if you need cocoa, you can just substitute for 1 ounce square of unsweetened chocolate. And if you need cream of tartar, I know we don't need that very often unless we're making meringues or something like that, but that would be something that you might not have. Because you
But I
don't
would
use
say
it that
moving
often.
forward, I would tell someone to have that in their kitchen.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it lasts for a long time.
Yes.
And then you have it there in case something happens and you don't have it.
Absolutely. And if you recipe calls for it and you don't have it, you can use 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Okay, let's talk about cake flour. If your recipe calls for cake flour and you don't have any, you can use 1 cup of all-purpose flour minus 2 tablespoons.
Paula, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What is the difference between cake flour and just, whether they ask for all-purpose or self-rising? Is there is it lighter? Because
Yeah, I think it's probably lighter. I don't know.
Okay.
So
do you
I'm
ever
not
use
sure.
ever use cake flour in your recipes?
Very seldom.
Okay.
Very seldom. If it calls for cake flour, this is
You
what
just
I
do what you do. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I do. So, because I have plenty of plain flour and plenty of self-rising flour. So,
You can make it work.
Why do I want one more different type of flour in the house?
Well, does cake flour have any baking powder already included in it, do you think?
I would say not. I would say not, since your substitute for cake flour would be a cup of all-purpose flour minus 2 tablespoons.
I think it was a good marketing brand to get you to buy another type of
Yes,
cake, another type of flour.
I kind of think so too, Teresa. All right, let's see. If your recipe calls for unsalted butter, personally, I use nothing but salted butter because that's what I like. I like that sweet and savory in my bacon, in my pound cakes, my cookies. So I won't mind to have that little bit of salt. But if you specifically need that unsalted butter, you can substitute with 1 cup of shortening. All right, and like I said, these are just a few of the things that I'm thinking that y'all might need to substitute. Sweetened condensed milk. Well, you can make your own. You would use 3/4 cup of white sugar mixed with 1/2 cup of water and 1 1/8 cups of dry powdered milk. And you just bring that to a boil and cook, stirring it frequently until it's thickened, about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna go over that again. 3/4 cup of white sugar mixed with 1/2 cup of water and 1 1/8 cups of dry powdered milk. There's a good chance you might not have dry powdered milk, but I keep that here, believe that or not. And you bring it to a boil, stirring frequently until it's thickened, about 20 minutes. All right, if you are trying to bake a cake and it calls for vegetable oil and you find you don't have any, you can add 1 cup of applesauce in the place of the 1 cup of vegetable oil. Let me see what else. Vinegar, a teaspoon of lemon juice or 2 teaspoons of white wine. Oh, and let's talk about wine. For white wine, you would substitute chicken broth. And if your recipe calls for red wine, you would use beef bouillon. Yeah, chicken broth, beef broth. So red wine, a beef broth, white wine, a chicken broth. So that's kind of pretty easy to remember. All right, yogurt. I don't always keep yogurt on hand. So I can take 1 cup of sour cream or 1 cup of buttermilk or 1 cup of sour milk for that yogurt. All right, brown sugar. Gosh, that's an easy one to run out of. So you could make your own brown sugar by using 1 cup of white sugar plus 1/4 cup of molasses. And then you would decrease the liquid in the recipe by 1/4 cup. Or 1 cup of white sugar or 1 1/4 cups of confectionate sugar. So that's pretty good. I like the idea of making my own brown sugar. Sour cream, you can substitute with 1 cup of plain yogurt or 3/4 cup of buttermilk mixed with 1/3 cup of butter. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like you got butter, milk. Soy sauce. 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce mixed with 1 tablespoon of water. How about that? All right, let's see. I just want to make sure that buttermilk. Did I?
You did.
A cup of milk, a cup of regular milk with a teaspoon or 2 of vinegar, and you let it sour, and it'll usually take about 5 minutes. And after it's thickened, it looks like buttermilk, got the clumps in it. All right, let's see. I think that's kind of takes care of the main things, and I hope that will help y'all, because now is a great time to get in the kitchen and try out some of those recipes that you've been wanting to try for the longest time. And I'll be back with this again, so y'all let me know if you found this helpful. And I hope you're all safe and sound and content with where you're quarantined. And I hope the family that y'all love so much is all safe as well. And God bless us. God bless us. Love and best dishes, y'all.